If you're a small business owner looking to turn foot traffic into loyal customers, this is the podcast episode you can't afford to miss. Today we're diving deep with geofencing experts Ernesto Caleri and Barbara Wardell of Cullari Wardell to uncover the power of location-based advertising. Whether you're interested in boosting retail foot traffic, enhancing your service business's visibility, or just curious about cutting-edge marketing technologies, you'll find invaluable insights here. And please give our sponsors a special visit at pitchdb.com or Content Basis at contentbasis.io. Now enjoy the episode. Welcome to Talk Commerce, the podcast where we unpack the world of e-commerce and online marketing. I'm Brent Peterson, and each week we bring you the latest insights and strategies to help your business thrive online. Talk Commerce is produced and supported by contentbasis.io. This podcast is my creative outlet and has been going now for 3 years. We are approaching 1,000 downloads every week and growing. If you are new to this podcast, give it a listen or check out the fantastic content on our website. From exploring effective marketing tactics to dissecting the trends shaping the digital marketplace, we've got you covered, and we're here to guide you through the ever-evolving landscape of e-commerce. But we're not just here to talk, we're here to engage. Got thoughts, questions, or you want to hear a really funny joke? I'd love to hear from you. Email me at brent@talkcommerce.com and let's keep the conversation going. Ready to boost your online presence? Tune in and stay ahead of the curve with Talk Commerce. Don't forget to subscribe for the full experience and share your feedback.
You're listening to Talk Commerce. Subscribe and download at talk-commerce.com.
Welcome to this episode of Talk Commerce. Today I have Barbara and Ernesto. They are with Cullari Wardell. I think I got that right.
You got it right.
Did. Why don't you, Barbara, go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us your day-to-day role, and maybe one of your passions in life, and maybe then Ernesto go right after Barbara.
Okay, great. Thank you for having us here. We're so excited. I'm Barbara Wardell, and I'm co-founder of Cullari Wardell. I am a single mom with 2 boys. They're older, and we started this business to help small businesses grow after COVID. And it's a passion of mine, but I also have my family, my friends, and of course we have places that we spend time and fundraise for different venues. One is the Philippines Street Kids, and also a women's core event that I support as well.
That's awesome. Thank you. Ernesto?
Hi, I'm Ernesto Caleri. I'm co-founder of Cullari Wardell, and we're a geofencing ad agency. And as Barbara said, we started this company in the middle of COVID to help small businesses recover foot traffic. My work is my passion. Photography, I love. I play guitar, sing, write music for fun. I used to do it professionally. And I have dinner with Barbara a lot. That's very fun. It's one of my passions. We eat well. We try to stay happy when we work. We have a very good time when we work. Work is stressful, so we try to make it as enjoyable for ourselves and for each other as possible.
That's awesome. Thank you. There's one thing that I forgot to ask you about, and what I'm going to do is just tell you a joke. I do this thing called the Free Joke Project. All I'd like to do is tell you a joke, and all you have to do is say, should the joke be free, or do you think we should geofence it in a place that nobody else would ever hear it again? All right, so here we go. My mother always used to say, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Lovely woman, terrible surgeon.
I think we should geofence that in somewhere. I have one for you, though.
All right, go. Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Why was Cinderella so bad at soccer?
Why?
Because she was always running away from the ball.
That's a good one.
Well done.
Yeah, I might use that in a future episode.
I do have another one if you want.
Go, yes, please.
Whoa, all these PG-13 jokes. I love it.
Where do polar bears hide their money?
Where?
In the snowbank.
That is perfect. That's it's actually accurate.
Yeah. I'm coming to you from warm and sunny Minneapolis today where it's snowing.
Oh, wow.
And it's spring. So, yeah, we haven't had snow all winter, and now suddenly it snows. Anyway. Hey there, it's Brent from Talk Commerce. As an entrepreneur and podcaster, I'm always looking for ways to share my message and connect with new audiences. That's why I was thrilled when I discovered PitchDB, the ultimate tool for getting booked on podcasts, speaking gigs, and media outlets. When I first tried PitchD, I was blown away by the results. I had a 100% response rate from the opportunities I pitched, and I couldn't believe how easy it was to connect with relevant hosts and planners. With over 3 million podcast opportunities, 148,000 event planners, and 31,000 plus media outlets, and 11,000 conferences at my fingertips, I felt like I had struck gold. What I love about PitchDB is how it streamlines the entire booking process. Everything is organized in one place, and I can easily search for meaningful opportunities, directly connect with decision makers, and reach engaged audiences. The integrated portal, ready-to-use templates, and seamless functionality make pitching a breeze. If you're an entrepreneur, speaking coach, or author looking to expand your reach and make a bigger impact, I highly recommend giving PitchDB a try. Head over to pitchdb.com and see for yourself how this incredible tool can transform your booking game. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. Let's get started. I know I joked in the green room about geofencing being an online swordplay game, but tell us more about geofencing and how it fits in. It sounds like more about how it fits into retail traffic, but tell us in general what geofencing is.
So geofencing is an advertising technology and tactic that takes advantage of the special relationships between smartphones and satellites. So with a satellite, you could draw a virtual fence around a location of interest. So say you're in the laundry industry or the restaurant industry, and you want to, say, gain new customers at your laundromat or restaurant. So we would take competitor locations and we would draw virtual fences around them. And then when someone walks into a competitor store, we can send them an ad to your store. But when they do come to your store eventually, the satellite pings us, alerting us that a new visit has taken place. And each month, Barbara and I do across the country, Canada and Australia, US, Canada, Australia, 5,000 satellite verified visits a month. And why this is important is because COVID really destroyed foot traffic across the country. I know in the Northeast, we lost about a third of all small businesses. And the big boxes really did well. And they were using this technology called geofencing. And so were the companies of like Chipotle and Burger King. So we saw what was happening and we wanted to bring this to small businesses. However, if you're an online business, you can use the same technology. Instead of driving people to your store, you would drive them to a landing page to make a purchase.
That's perfect. Thank you. So maybe Barbara can answer this question. Like, how does it help the merchant to get more traffic?
Oh, it helps tremendously because it counts from your advertising. When they walk into that geofence and they receive an advertising for that business or that website, it actually sends an ad, whether it would be a banner ad across the top of your smartphone, in the middle of your smartphone, or at the bottom of your smartphone, or maybe in a native ad, because we advertise in apps and the wide open web. So once they see that ad, we track them. We don't know who they are. It's anonymous, but we do know that their cell phone. It's given an identifier, and we track them during the time that they're running through their day. And if they go into that establishment, we know that they saw the ad and that they actually came into that establishment. So it's all satellite verified.
How do you avoid the sort of creepy factor where I walk into Home Depot and suddenly I'm getting all kinds of ads for Home Depot or I'm getting all kinds of ads for Lowe's, let's say?
So your device becomes anonymized. Unlike with Facebook and other platforms, so I suspect sometimes that they're listening to our devices. Has that ever happened to you?
Oh yeah,
all the
yeah.
time.
You say something, and suddenly Alexa is giving you all kinds of product recommendations.
Right. So this is way less creepy. So we know that you have a certain interest for a product. Say you walk into a Top Golf or a golf shop, or we know because of where you've been, you're interested in these products. But we then anonymize your device in a clean room, and then we are able to track you for a given period of time. But because we don't actually know who you are, we just make certain inferences. We actually do protect consumer privacy. Whereas I believe Facebook is not allowed to track you in and out of stores because they already know who you are. And there's no way, because you have a Facebook profile, that they can anonymize you. But since we can anonymize a user, we're able to track them without cookies. We're able to track them without, um, you know, betraying their privacy. And then as advertisers or as small business owners, we're then able to track conversions online or conversions into one of our stores.
Tell me a little bit about the democratization of this. You mentioned small business owners a few times, and that maybe the big box stores can easily do this. Tell me how you've been able to make this available to a broader audience.
When we initially started doing this and we were reading case studies, we read it that Burger King, anytime that someone with the Burger King app was in the vicinity of a McDonald's, Burger King would then send you an ad. I forget what the actual loss leader was for that. And then, Chipotle wanted to drive in curbside pickup. So when we saw that these big brands were doing this, we asked the question, well, what will it take to bring this technology to small businesses? So we broke into the laundromat industry. We were recommended by one of our clients to some of the biggest operators in the country. So that was our test bed, the laundry industry. And we found that with a budget as small as $1,000 a month for ad spend, that we were able to drive, for some clients, we were able to drive over 1,000 visits to one laundromat owner in the Carolinas with about 30 locations. So that's $1,000 budget driving 1,000 visits per month, each month, for over a year. And once we sort of learned how to hone the technology in for just one company, then we were able to take that case study, that successful case study, and we were able to bring it to laundromats all across the country. So now that we've mastered the laundry industry, we've taken this to private aviation, apparel, mezcal brands.
Aviation, HVAC.
Yeah, HVAC. So we've been able to bring it to other verticals as well.
Which vertical have you found the most success with this?
So far, the laundry industry and the alcohol and beverage industry. We did, over the summer, we had done electrical mezcal, which is an artisanal mezcal. And for each of the tastings, we had like over 100 people show up. So, and then I would say on a weekly, daily basis, things like laundromats and car washes, really, they're doing very well with the same model. We sort of have our own algorithms that we use that we've refined through the laundry industry, but we've taken that to other industries. But laundromats and car washes and alcohol and beverages seem to do exceedingly well.
That's interesting. So just you don't have to reveal all your magic data, but tell me a little bit about how you would identify somebody who's good for a laundromat before they've been into a laundromat.
So one of the things we do, Barbara and I use technology that's really used for commercial real estate. And we identify locations and where people have been a half hour before and half hour after, visiting a retail location. We can determine where they live, where they work. And then we build our target list around these locations where we've observed over the last 2 years, people have been in and out of these locations. So that's sort of part of our secret sauce. And then we apply algorithms that we've developed based on people's behavior. So say, for example, say you drive a Mercedes. So we're trying to identify people that have either purchased a Mercedes before. So then we would look at other dealerships, and then we want them to, say, either purchase a car from us or service their car with us. So then we would look at places like Whole Foods. We would look at Pilates places. We would look at jewelry stores. And then, we could basically come up with a buying persona for a given type of client and then send them ads and then track their visit to one of our stores.
I want to just ask about the mezcal because I'm a big mezcal fan.
Electrico Mezcal, amazing.
Yeah.
We talk about it often as as we can.
Tell us, I'm assuming it's one specific liquor store or group of liquor stores you're trying to drive people to purchase it. What are the behaviors of those people prior to that help the liquor store owner to know that these are great candidates for this mezcal?
So mezcal is a little higher end in terms of when you compare it to a tequila, for example. And so therefore we know that someone who drinks mezcal, because they have a more discerning palate, they have a little bit more disposable income. We know that if we target fine restaurants, we know if we target high-end specialty liquor stores, we know that if we target certain hotels and even certain car dealerships, and again, jewelry stores, we know that if we send ads to these people, that they're highly likely to consider coming to either the restaurant that carries it or to the liquor store that carries it. And they're even more likely to make that purchase directly from Electrico Mezcal online.
Maybe Barbara could help answer this one about the data location and how that is a great indicator for that product or the customer's identity. I mean,
Well, data location is indicative of a behavior that we do every day, right? So online behavior is not the same. It's very different. You can look up, like Ernesto was talking about, a Mercedes. You can look up about a Mercedes, but unless you go to the dealership or you're doing something involved in it, that's your real behavior, right? It's indicative of your habits every day. And that's what we do. We do a foot traffic study. It's basically a mobile foot traffic study of that business, and we see where they come and where they go. And from that information, we know where they go after. So those are the type of people that are going to be serviced with that particular, say, the mezcal or whatever merchandise or, service that we are. So we do an in-depth study to see exactly who those customers are, because with geofencing, it's very precise. We can target an ATM if we wanted to. I could do a phone booth and Lois Lane would know where Superman was all the time. I mean, this is the technology that we're dealing with, and we figured out a way to bring it to the smaller businesses, because the targets, all the corporations have this technology and their ad spends are so crazy. Oh my God, it's $30,000, $40,000 and they just let it run. We're stewards of their money and making sure that those ads are out there. And with the verticals that we do have, we change that if something's not working for that small business, because we want them to get the best value out of that ad spend money.
Is there a difference between big city and small city, or is it the same across any type of demographic in terms of location?
So we have several clients through New York and LA, and we find that we have to make the circles a little smaller depending on what the business is. So if you are targeting, say, dry cleaner in Brooklyn, you're really only talking about a few block radius where people actually would come to your business. And if you're in LA and you're talking about a fast food chain, then we have to be very specific, and the radius might be a little larger. It is a little bit more challenging, but the great thing about geofencing, when you're in these big competitive ad markets, as long as you are very deliberately drawing your targets, you can still get the most return on investment. The difference between an experienced agency and an inexperienced agency is that an inexperienced agency just looks at a city like New York, looks at a city like LA, and they come up with their parameters to target consumers, but it's in general too large. We get very specific, we get very precise with our targeting, and we could be just as effective in large advertising markets with the same amount of money, because we're only going after people who are specifically interested in our products. So if we're selling luxury watches, we're not targeting all of LA. We're only targeting buildings, neighborhoods where we know that, and stores where we know that people are spending that kind of money.
I was going to make a joke about Starbucks and a coffee shop and how you have to target it to the store next door. Keep your bubble really small because the next store could be a coffee shop. But in reality, my friend is opening up a scooters franchise, which is made for smaller cities in rural America. And him and his partner actually went down and counted cars on the corner to see, is there enough traffic to support this? How can that, and let's just say the town is whatever, 5,000 people. I'm assuming in that type of thing, you take the entire location of the city and do that, or is there even smaller bubbles that you can focus in on?
So you're sort of retelling a story that we often tell about our buddy who wanted to open up more laundromats, and he would sit outside with a clicker. It does, even if it's a small town, we're able to, with mobile foot traffic studies, we're able to look at street corners, we're able to look at neighborhoods, we're able to look at retail locations. And even if it's small, even if it's a small rural town, we're still able to accurately measure the volume of devices that have gone in and out of a place over a given period of time. So we could do the last 6 months, or we could do the last 2 years. But mobile foot traffic studies are very accurate. We use 2 competing systems to validate our data, just to make sure that we're giving an accurate picture to someone who's looking to open up a new business.
Tell me a little bit about the businesses and in the supply chain of that business. Does this apply to maybe the B2B market or anybody else that's not retail but has part of that retail supply chain? I guess the data would apply, but is there any other applications outside of retail?
No, we can do B2B, which is retail. We also do services. We also do we track website traffic
and private aviation.
And now we even have a nutrition company that we're doing geofencing for, to bring in the visits as well as sign up for some of the activities that they do at their stores.
So I want to just dive into service businesses a little bit. And if it's let's just say that it's either a vacation rental business or a sort of a retreat business where you're trying to get people to come in from a broader place, and let's just say you want to get them to go to Puerto Rico. How do I guess you have to know that client, and then you have to try to dial in on that behavior, and then the bubble gets really big, right? Does this kind of break the model?
Even if you're looking, so we had a client in Australia with a bed. They had like I can't even say it, bed and breakfast. And so for a client like that, we did some due diligence and research to find out where and what parts of Australia people were coming from. So Barbara and I live on the Jersey Shore. So for example, when we do foot traffic studies for certain tourist locations, we can look at neighborhoods in New York City, neighborhoods in Staten Island, neighborhoods in Florida. We can see where people are actually coming from, and we can send ads to consumers like that, even if they're not living within driving distance of a location. And then, you can look at other sorts of data. You can look at other sorts of tourism-based data. And a lot of times we ask our clients, because we're not experts in everyone's industry, so we often ask
Really? Come on.
we often interview them because they have the precious data. They have the precious information. Even if it's an existing client list, we can target their neighbors. If we have access to their existing client list, we could target them and their neighbors. So there's other sorts of data out there. And part of the process is really being good listeners and asking our clients and people that we're consulting for information that would be vital for targeting.
Tell me if you've had a win, something that the client was very skeptical on, that you were able to turn into a big win for the client.
Tell them about Michael Jones.
Okay. So he wasn't skeptical. Well, he was a little skeptical, but he was living in his own laundromat when he first he had bought it. He worked for the financial industry, and He literally, at one point with the storm and everything else that happened, he ended up living in his laundromat when he called us to figure out how to geofence to get traffic into his store. And he just sold it for a nice amount of money.
He just reached out to us the other day.
And we've had him
for definitely over a year.
Everyone in his strip mall couldn't believe the traffic that was coming in. So they were giving us a call saying, how did you do this? We need help, because they couldn't believe it went from really little traffic just exploding. And that's what we do, is because you can't take, as a business owner, right? You can't take for granted that you're in a parking lot and you have other stores around you that they know that you're there. They don't. Everyone is in their little bubble of doing whatever they're doing. You have to be front of mind. Our targeting is retargeting. We're always out there getting your message. Whatever message that is, whether or not it's a safe environment, whether you have certain products, everything's about the message, right? And we're a marketing firm, so everything that we do to get that message out has to attract that customer, right? Once they're in the door,
it's up to you.
It's up to you. You have to upsell them, right? But we're capable of getting that interest going in, because your cell phone is where it is now. This is where you need to advertise.
It's where people's attention spans are, and
I mean, this is where it's not going away.
So tell me about the types of ads and where they're being delivered to on your cell phone.
So we deliver a variety of ads, from display ads. So geographically, it could take the bottom or the top of your phone, maybe the middle of a phone as you're working through an app. We do native ads, which are large, 1200 by 600 pixels that take up the major real estate of your phone as you're browsing. And we do video ads as well. So those are pretty much the main inventory that you would see a geofence ad in. So a display ad as you're in an app, a native ad as you're reading a news story, or a video ad as you're surfing the web.
That's perfect. First, let me ask Barbara, as we go into 2024, as we're in 2024, what do you see as the big trend for commerce right now? And you can't say AI.
Oh, we can't say AI? No, that's okay. I'm okay. I think it's going to be a hybrid. I think we're going to go a little bit back to old school as well as integrate. I think that's the best way to go, because you still want that foot traffic, because we're not going to get rid of stores. I mean, I love to go into a store, though I love ordering online. I think it's going to be a good mix. I think with the technology, as long as we keep it to where we're respectful of everyone's privacy, as well as just interaction, because I mean, there's times that I go to make a phone call and then you got to press all these buttons and you get frustrated by the time that you get to the customer service. So there's got to be a balance to that, because you have to have that human factor. And I think that's more important. It's like with our advertising, we always put a face or something warm to attract you to that ad.
And that's good. I'm going to comment on AI because you said human factor. And I believe that, the watered down AI versions of anything that's out there, people are now really recognizing what they are. And I use AI in my business, and then I have a bunch of automations that happen after maybe a blog post goes out, where maybe it writes a little tweet or something, and exciting news and delving into or diving into our words now that have suddenly become into our vocabulary that people didn't normally use in day-to-day life. And that I think you're right, that people are going to spot those as being non-human.
Yes, because you can see an ad right now, and then that's generated. We always are looking at new technologies to have. We always like to take parts of technology to put it in our tool belt to help with our B2Bs to make sure that they're getting the best out of us. So we're always looking into these technologies, and we have seen some ads and we're like, yeah, no, because that's not going to relate to someone.
Yeah, I was describe it as a bot advertising to a bot. And at the end of the day, somebody wants to read or actually use something that you're trying to sell.
I think that if you integrate both in a respectful way, that will work.
Ernesto, what do you think is going to be the next big trend?
The next big trend. Well, I can certainly say Barbara and I got into this industry because location-based technology is growing. It's the past, it's the present, it's the future. It's really underutilized. Geofencing is really underutilized. We're contacted by other agencies all the time, agencies that specialize in programmatic ads, but the one thing they don't understand is geofencing. So I do believe that before people start buying locations or opening up a new, retail location, that they're going to do better due diligence than just asking maybe one of their distributors, what business is like here or what business could be like here. They're going to look to independent companies like us to verify the data that they might be presented with. And then they're going to look towards location-based agencies to then go out and draw people and bring people in. And then towards, we talked a little bit about AI. Some forms of AI are really great for helping, create content and things like that. The world's best visual models do not create faces that resonate with people just yet. I'm a, accomplished published portrait and headshot and commercial photographer. And I look at, there's dating profiles out there that are just like ridiculous. You could just look at them and you're like, you could tell this is a bot. And then I've seen plenty of advertisements that look amazing. But when it comes to the eyes, a human being is programmed to spot micro impressions. And that is kind of what makes us good communicators to each other. It allows us to read a room. It allows us to say, hey, I'm talking to this person. Am I getting across? Do they like me? Do they hate me? AI, despite its brilliance, is still incapable of producing a face and the eyes that resonate with people. It comes down to those micro expressions, and that's something I don't believe we'll ever be able to teach a machine. Is that je ne sais quoi, that what is that connection that I'm having with someone? That's why organic, real salespeople do so well, because they're able to read people well and they're able to communicate to people well. And I just don't think an AI will be able to do that anytime soon.
I would agree with that. Barbara and Ernesto, we have a few minutes left. As we close out the podcast, I give everybody a chance to do a shameless plug. So today we get to do 2 shameless plugs. Barbara, why don't you go first?
Shameless plug, huh? Well, I have to say it's Cullari Wardell, the geofencing ad agency. We give free consultations, and very important, one of the things that we do is a mobile foot traffic study, and that we can do before you purchase that business to see exactly what their business actually is drawing in. Because some of them are still like laundry some are still coin, and they don't have good records, right? But there's also ones when you're starting a business and you're in a geographical location and you're putting that business there, but you're not quite sure what the demographics would really support that business. This is where we come in with our mobile traffic study.
That's perfect. Thank you. Ernesto?
Yeah.
So Rocky was one of my favorite movies, right? And even though there's 20 Rocky movies, he somehow is always the underdog. So Barbara and I really do represent the underdog. We took what happened to us and to other businesses very personally during COVID. So we look at our company, Cullari Wardell, we look at it as an opportunity to put power back into the hands of small business owners and empower the underdog so that even in competitive markets where ad spends can be very expensive, we have it set up so that with a very modest budget, you could do a lot of damage in your market and really slay your competitors and grow your business day after day, week after week, and month after month. And so you could be like Michael Jones, who was living in his laundromat. And within a year, and I would say 4 or 5 months, he was able to turn around and sell that laundromat at a very nice profit. In fact, Michael Jones called us the other day. It seemed like out of the blue. He's like, "Hey, Ernesto, how's it going? Barbara, how's it going?" He's like, "By the way, I'm on the phone with you, and I just sold, and here are the new owners. I want to introduce them to you. They want to continue doing geofencing." So it works. It changes lives. It changes the trajectory of your business. It makes you hyper competitive. We're passionate about it. We're pissed that a third of small businesses were closed during COVID, and success is the best revenge. So if you want revenge, come to Cullari and Wardell. We're going to kick some ass for you.
And we're really good at slaying the competition.
That's awesome. Just tell us how they get in touch with you. I will put all the contact details in the show notes, but tell us how they should get in touch with you.
We're at Cullari Wardell, .com, CULLARI, and look us up and check us out. Look at our website. We got plenty of information on there to learn about geofencing and geotargeting and all the things that we
awesome.
do.
Barbara Wardell and Ernesto Caleri, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Talk Commerce is a production of Content Basis, LLC. For more creative content, go to contentbasis.io.